Mr. KnightOwl here for our Friday night lesson night for beginners and maybe intermediate players. I'm not a professional, but I've been playing for about 20 years. I've been a bar bander. I was in an originals band when I was a kid, like a lot of us. And I've learned some things and I feel like sharing. So, if you care to listen, today's lesson is going to be for beginners, and it's going to be jargon you're going to hear if you're going to be online looking up videos on how to do things. So, here, I'm going to go over a few, I'd like to keep these short to about 10 minutes, a few jargon phrases you'll hear us talk about and what they mean. Remember, there's no magic. Okay, it's all physical. You're going to hear this a lot. Quiet. Tones in the fingers. What these crazy old boomers mean by that is that if you practice and you learn how to move your hands on a guitar, you can get different sounds. It does not mean you can turn your Fender into a Marshall, your Strat into a Les Paul, or you can have a clean amp and just touch it and get 5150 high gain. It doesn't mean anything crazy like that. It simply means how your hands attack the strings and the sounds you get. For example, you're going to learn how to do this. Some people call them the squealies. I call them pinch harmonics. What you do is you take your pick. Mine, I've been using this every day for 8 years and it's nice and rounded off. Love the round edge. And you put it in your fingers like so. And when you hit the strings, you're picking your fingers hit the strings at the same time. And you get that kind of sound. Now if I just play the note, doesn't sound like that, doesn't have that cool airy kind of sound, right? You get that by picking it. And those are the kinds of things that they mean by tones in the fingers. But more so too, if you strum with the pick in that hand, you get some quack. Instead of just other things that get involved in the sound, how hard you whack it. That affects it. The angle you come at. Now if you just go flat down with the tip of the pick sticking out, it's going to sound one way, right? But if you come at it, different sounds, right? It's things like that, little things like that, that they mean by tone is in the fingers. It's such a stupid phrase, but you're going to hear it a lot because it's just how you play. But things that make a difference. Another thing that makes a difference that comes from your hands and not a pedal or anything like that. Where you pick. Just listen, I'm just going to... closer you pick to the neck, you're going to get more low end, and the closer you pick to the bridge, the more high end you're going to get. Why it's like that, I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I can't tell you anything, but it's true. You just heard it. Those are the kind of things they mean by tone is in the hand. The heavier amp tones you use, like if you crank up a 5150, all that distortion is going to give you what they call compression. That's basically it. You know, the wave sign or whatever, compression compresses. So all those minute details, they don't completely fade away. They're just harder to hear and harder to notice. So you'll hear a lot of metal guys go, tones in the fingers, that's a bunch of crap. It's like, well, no, your amp's really compressing, you know, the wave getting smushed. And there's just less room for detail like that. Or harmonics. There's another little term you're going to hear. And it's another stupid one. People don't know what it means. I don't even know what it really means. But they're talking about notes tailing off, basically. You see how it kind of gets crispy and breaks up near the end when you pick a note. It's like harmonic detail. Two-hand people love to throw that phrase around, harmonics. It's like they can hear little frequencies and they break them. It's like bullcrap. It's a fading electric signal. When the people are talking about pickups and stuff, you know, they'll hit the big, there's a nice distorted tone, and they'll say, oh, but these pickups clean up nicely. Like somebody took a rag to them and got all that worn off yellow or something. No, it means you roll down your volume and you can get cleaner tones. See, you just hear it. You know, this one probably doesn't clean up so much, especially with a rat pedal on it. Oh, I love a rat pedal. Gotta get a rat pedal kit. So that's another term you'll hear, and that's all it means, clean up nicely. It just means you can get a decent clean sound without having to stomp on it, turn off all your stop boxes, and just get your flat signal from the amp or processors or whatever crap you're using to get your sound. It just means roll it down. And it's a good way to get clean sounds. But one problem you're going to come across is all your high end goes away. And it sounds like, like that. It doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't sound like guitar. It sounds like a guitar going, But what do I know, right? What other stupid terms are you going to hear? Here's a favorite amongst pedal people. Transparent overdrive. It doesn't color your sound as if these things come with a box of crayons and they're on your computer screen coloring on the waveform. Such a stupid phrase. There's so many stupid phrases in this. But that's half the fun, because I get to come on here and be an asshole, make fun of boomers who come up with this crazy crap. Transparent overdrive. Here's a good example. If you're a kid on a budget, Sweet Baby Overdrive. Copy of the Mad Professor, Mad Honey, something like that. What transparent overdrive means is you get more of how your amp sounds like without a pedal on. So if you got a Fender amp and it's just kind of, a little dirty, and you just want it to get a little dirtier, but it still sounds like a Fender amp, you get a transparent overdrive. It's so transparent, you don't even see it. Or, I'm sorry, you don't. Transparent is about seeing, not hearing. It's like, do people not know the meanings of words they use? Good Lord. Watch, I probably got that wrong. Yeah, we're all human, right? Another thing, you'll hear terms when it comes to gain. You're going to hear distortion and overdrive. Overdrive means just a little bit of extra juice for your sound, and distortion means the full-blown, heavy tones, basically distortion. And then you'll hear fuzz. Oh God, boomers and their fuzz. Sounds like a can of bees. Bzz, 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 bzz. But people love it because Hendrix did it, and he did no wrong except choke on his vomit and die. Oh, if you old people hate me now, you're gonna hate me even more tomorrow when I put out my Saturday night special about my review about that Get Back movie. Oh, how you guys ever fell for that shit. Hey, let's record an album, but with no studio. I was like, come on. Y'all believe anything, like we landed on the moon or something. Hey, this looks like a meth head's tree for it. It'll take off the moon. Some of y'all just believe anything on that box. Anyways, what other stupid guitar terms that normal people would need explained to them? Oh, you're gonna, if you're taking lessons, you're gonna hear caged a lot. And it's a good system how to learn to play guitar. No knocking that. No, it just sounds weird. Hey, do you want to learn caged? And it's like, no, I don't want to be an animal in a zoo. I want to learn how to play guitar. But it just stands for the chord shapes that you can slide all the way up and down the neck and play anywhere and make chords with. C, A, G, E, D. Those chord shapes you can work anywhere. Let's see, C. C takes some work. Let's see, C, A, D, G. Stuff like that. Let's see, did I miss anything? Oh yeah, E. What they really mean by caged is triads. It's the first, third, and fifth note of a chord. And you can play those anywhere using those shapes. Basically. But E chord I always thought was funny because you can, that's how you make a bar chord. Here's your E, slide it up here. You're playing the E shape all the way up and down the neck with a bar. Learn those bar chords, kids. I should probably play something. Gotta love a rap. Goofy terms. Well, you'll hear them all, and they're all basically magic. Oh, here's another one. True bypass. Everybody used to love it because it's like, oh, it doesn't color your signal. It doesn't add anything to it. It's pure. It's clean. It's true. Everybody goes out and buys all these true bypass pedals, and they're like, how come my guitar sounds like shit? It's like, well, because you got about 50 extra feet of cable running through your shit, and nothing pushing that signal along. So now people are buying buffers. Why? Oh, buffer, that basically boosts the signal going from the chord to the amp, whatnot. And how about you just bring back regular bypass pedals? Buffered bypass, whatever you want to call it. Where it just adds power to the signal to make sure it gets all the way through. Basically, just buy a fucking boss pedal. They come with it. Get the tuner. Everybody loves the tuner. Nobody argues about the tuner because it's a good tuner. It's a tuner. You have to have a tuner. Or just an app on your phone, whatever, that's what I use. But yeah, it pushes the signal, make sure it gets strong enough to get through all the thing. But it colors your tone. God, the nonsense language we use, but it's fun. No hate. Well, there's a little bit of hate towards boomers who actually believe the Beatles story. They called it the British invasion for a reason, folks. It wasn't just a cute little term. Anyways, so you can probably imagine what tomorrow's rant's going to be like. Y'all gonna think I'm nuts if you don't already do. You probably should. Let's see, what other stupid terms do we use? Color the sound. That one's one of my favorites. It's like, give me a crayon. I colored my guitar with stickers. Oh, just for those of you wondering, this is a late 90s PV Raptor. Gotta love PV. First generation that weren't made here. And they're still remarkably good, almost as good as the American ones. But this one I picked up for $75 on eBay. Used. And it plays as good, if not better, than any Mexican Strat I've ever had. Actually, it's one of my favorites I've ever had. Just, it's got a neck, man. Yes, all guitars have necks. When somebody says something like that, they mean a beefy, big-ass neck. Yeah. Not any of that Ivanhoe scrap. Let's see, what other goofy guitar terms do we use that drive me nuts? Oh, there's tons of them. But they're all slipping through time. Or my head, one of them two. So, I'm sure I'll think of some more. But for all you beginners out there, it's just an idea of what we're talking about when we talk. And tone's not really in your fingers, it's in your technique. Get lessons, kids. Like, I'm going to harp on this until you do it. Because number one, I know you probably won't. So the stuff will stay cheap. A loud, solid state, well-built amp. A PV. Effector. So on and so forth. Clean with pedals. The good ones. The Rat, the Boss SD1, the Boss DS1, if you use it right. Tube Screamers, or actually just a Tube Screamer, which is basically a Boss SD1, or the Boss SD1 is basically a Tube Screamer, whatever, a little different. And the Big Muff Pie. I just wanted to say Big Muff Pie, but it is a classic. And all those you can get for $100 or less new. Get the classics, learn how to use them, because then you'll know what everybody's talking about. Oh, this brings me to another term. Boutique. It's a fancy word for asshole in his garage. Buying parts and putting together the same damn pedals people have been putting together for 40 years. With maybe little minor tweaks here and there that you won't be able to hear. But because he's so small, and he can't buy hundreds of thousands of parts in bulk, he's got to charge you $300 for a fucking Tube Screamer. And then they got to come up with some magic. Musicians fall for magic like boomers fall for the moon landing. Yeah. This is an ironically decorated guitar. None of this is magic, but it's sure a hell of a lot of fun. So get yourself a budget guitar. Get yourself a Bandit. I'll cut the crap for you. Budget guitar. That's well built. I'm reviewing some coming up. I've already reviewed a couple that are pretty good. The classic pedals. A loud Bandit and your budget guitar. That's all you need. You can get all of that for under $500 combined. The rest of your budget put towards lessons. Or heck, save even more money. Go to groovymusiclessons.com. He gives you like 200 hours worth of lessons for $25. You just download them. Scott Grove, great guy. You gotta get his lessons. Their lessons are fucking great. If you can count to 7 and you can recite your alphabet at least halfway through, or up to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There's no H note, so if you can recite your alphabet up to G and count to 7, he can show you how to play guitar. Great, you gotta check him out. So you can do all that for $550. Keep the rest. Go to a show. Do something to keep from going crazy. This has been Mr. Night Owl. I'll see you later. Catch you on the flip side.